Welcome to our 8th video in our Python for Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning series. Today we are diving into conditional statements, which is a fundamental concept in programming that allows our code to make decisions. Conditional statements are the building blocks of program logic and will be essential as we develop more sophisticated algorithms for artificial intelligence and machine learning application going forward. In this video, we will learn how to use if statement, else if statement, and else statement to create branching logic in our code. So let's first understand what is a conditional logic. Usually, conditional logic is at the heart of programming intelligence. Just as human makes decision based on the conditions. For example, if it's raining, I will take an umbrella with me. Program needs similar decision making capabilities. So conditional statement allow our code to execute different blocks depending on whether the certain conditions are true or false. This branching logic is crucial in machine learning, where algorithms constantly evaluate conditions to make predictions or classifications while you're developing your machine learning models. So for example, a decision tree might check if a feature is greater than threshold Y, classify as class A, otherwise classify as class B, based on the condition whether it is greater than the threshold Y or not. As we progressed towards more complex algorithms, mastering conditional statement will be very essential for us. So let's start with understanding the if statement. So the if statement is the foundation of conditional logic in Python. It starts with the keyword if, followed by a condition and a colon at the end. The intended block below runs if the condition is true. So Python uses indentation, not braces, to define blocks like we do in other languages like C and Java, which keeps code clean and readable. For example, if you can see on the right hand side, I have defined a age is equal to 25, and I have written a if statement saying that if age is greater than equal to 18, then and only then go ahead and print these two statements. So if I do that, what our code will do? Let's see. If I go ahead and say if age is greater than equal to 25, then it should go ahead and print the statements. So let me run it. So it says you are an adult and you are eligible to vote because the age is greater than or equal to 25. Now, if I make the age less, it will not print anything. The reason for that is if the condition is true, then and only then it is going to go inside and execute the block. Otherwise, it is not going to execute the code block inside the if statement. That is how if statement condition logic works. So comparison operators lets us compare values from condition statement for if statements. So they return a Boolean results, as we saw, either true or false, which helps us determine whether a specific code blocks should be executed, as we saw in the example. So if you use is equal to you can use is equal to for comparing the variables from left towards the right, and you can use not equal to check for inequality. You can likewise use greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, which helps you compare the magnitudes. But you have to be careful that the same object in the memory is not just equal to the values. What we mean by that? So whenever we create a variable, so if I say a is equal to a list 1, 2, 3, 4, it is going to go ahead and get stored into a memory block that is XYZ. Now, if I say b is equal to a, that means it is going to go ahead and again you point towards the same memory block instead of creating his own memory. So in this case, if I change the value of b, automatically a also changes. Now, to check whether two of the variables are pointing to towards the two same object in the memory, we can use the is identity over here in our if condition that I will show you in few minutes. So these comparisons are actually essential when we are filtering data, setting thresholds, or building rule-based logic in machine learning. Now we will see one example for each of the operators in the if statement. So if I say 5 equal to 5, so it will compare both the values with each other, and based on that it will say if it's true or false. If it is true, then it is going to print the statement. So if you see the output over here, that means the output is true. So I will go ahead and run this, and you will see, yes, 5 is equal to 5. That's why it has printed. Now, if I go ahead and say 5 is not equal to 3, it is again true. 5 is not equal to 3. So it has printed the same below. Now, if I say 7 is greater than 2, again, it is going to go ahead and print because it is true. Now, let's see an example. Now, I'm saying is 3 is less than y. So that should return a false. So is it going to run my code block, that is the print command over here? No, it didn't. So there is no output available. Now, if I say greater than equal to, so 4 is greater than equal to 4. It's true because 4 is equal to 4. Then the output would be, yes, 4 is greater than or equal to 4. Now, if I say 2 is less than or equal to 5, it is not equal to, but it is less than. So it is going to print the output for us. Now, I gave you one example for the same. When I'm going ahead and saying a is equal to 1, 2, 3, it is going to go ahead and store on a location in the memory. We consider the name of the memory location is XYZ. Now, when I say b is equal to a, b is also pointing to XYZ. That means both of the variables are pointing towards the same memory location. Now, to identify that, what you can do is in the if statement, you can say if a is b, print this. That means it is saying if both of them are going ahead and pointing to the same location, go ahead and print the statement. That's why it is printing the statement saying that a and b refer to the same object, that is they are referring to the same object in the memory which has been stored. Now, is not negated identity. So c is equal to 1, 2, 3. The way we checked if two variables are pointing towards the same object location, now we are checking that if a variable a is pointing to a different location compared to a variable c. So in this case, if I say if a is not c, then go ahead and say that a and c are not the same object. That means both of them have separate objects created in the memory, and yes, the condition is fulfilled. That means c is having a separate copy and a and b are pointing towards one single copy of object inside the memory. Let's go back to our screen. Now let's talk about logical operators. So logical operators help you build more complex conditions by combining multiple Boolean expressions. So the operator returns true only if both conditions are true when you are going to go ahead and use AND like this. So if I say if x is greater than 0 and x is less than 10, then and only then it is going to go ahead and give us the Boolean value as true. Now the second one is the operator returns true if at least one condition is true. That is for this, for the OR. If age is less than 13 or age is greater than equal to 65, any of the condition means it is going to go ahead and run the code block inside the if statement. So the NOT operator in Python is used to reverse the result of a condition. For example, if the condition is true, applying NOT will make it false. So if the condition is false, NOT will make it true, vice versa. This is useful when you want to check if something is not the case. For example, if I say if not is raining, means if it is not raining, then perform something, right? So if not is valid, if something is not valid, then go ahead and print invalid input. So it is a simple way to express the opposite of a condition in your code. Now let's talk about our other point, that is parenthesis. So you can group expressions using parentheses to ensure the order of evaluation, like we discussed in our second video. When you want to prioritize order of evaluation for some of the operators, at that time we are going to give parentheses. So right now, if I am going to give parentheses for if x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0, so the first priority will be provided to this block inside the parenthesis. It will be evaluated first, then and only then it will go ahead and move towards the next one. So let's understand this with an example. So I will jump to our screen and we will see it one by one. So we are done with basic statement, we are done with comparison operator. Now we will talk about logical operators. So over here I am going to use AND. Okay, so what I'm saying is age is equal to 25 and income is equal to 50,000. So these are the two variables that I have declared. So I have given two conditions which both should meet, then and only then this person is eligible for a loan. If his age is greater than 18 and his income is greater than 40,000, then and only then he should be eligible for loan. So now, right now, the person who is applying for loan, his age is 25 and income is 50,000. That means he meets the criteria, and when I run this code, it says eligible for loan. Now, another example for OR logical operator. So at least one condition must be true, as we discussed. So we have created two variables: is student, has job. So if is student or has job, print can apply for discount. So if a person is a student or he is a working professional, then and only then he can go ahead and apply for a discount. So if you see over here, he is not a student, but he is a working professional. That is, he is having a job. That means he is eligible to apply for a discount. Now, another example we will take for license. So now we will invert the Boolean value. As I spoke, I know it was confusing. So let's see this with an example. I say if Dheeraj has he is not having license, that means has license is equal to false. If not has license, it means if he is not having license, then you can go ahead and say you cannot drive. So right now, if it says if not, false. Okay. So if he is not having a license, then he cannot go ahead and drive. So this condition will become true and the output would be you cannot drive. So now in our parenthesis example, in the condition that you see, if score is greater than 80 and attendance is greater than 70 or score is greater than 90. So Python follows operator precedent rules where comparison operators like greater than are evaluated first, followed by and then or. This means it will first check if the score is greater than 80 and the attendance is greater than 70. But if you want, sometimes you want some conditions to be checked first compared to the other conditions based on the operator precedence. To override that, you can use parenthesis over here. So right now I have used parenthesis to just show you that how you can override the operator precedence in your if statements if you are using. So right now it is going to give the precedence to this condition first, then it is going to check for the other condition, and based on that it is going to tell us that yes, because it is meeting this criteria or this criteria. So we can see that the left criteria on the left side is been met, because of which it says passes criteria. Okay, now let's see what's next. So now we are going to talk about the else statement. Okay, the else statement provides a default block of code that runs when none of the preceding if or else if conditions are true. So it is the last resort. So if we are using if condition, if it is not true, after that if we are again using else if condition, that we will see after this, if that is also not true, then the last resort, that is the default value, is going to be else block. So it acts as a final fallback in a decision structure. You can use else with a simple if to handle binary choices, or at the end of an if else if chain to catch all the remaining cases. So for example, when you are validating a user input, if the user input is a digit, we process it. Otherwise, we show an error like this. So if I go ahead and open this user input, okay, I am taking a user input and I am doing a validation over here. So if I go ahead and run this program, it is going to ask me to provide a value. If I provide a value, then in the if statement, what I am checking, the provided value that he has given, is it an integer or a string? If it is an integer, then and only then it is going to go ahead and say you have entered a number. If I have entered a string, it is going to go ahead and say that this is not a valid number. So this is how you are checking two conditions simultaneously. So if this condition is not true, that means we have to give this value. If this condition is true, we have to give this value. Okay, based on true and false. Now I will go ahead and run this and it will ask me to enter the value. So I am entering the value over here, that is 21. And if I hit on enter, it will print you entered the number 21 because it is a digit. Now if I again run the program and say ABC and run enter, see, this is not a valid number. This is how you can use a if else statement. So another example might be to check a weather condition, or you can also check odd or even number. So let's see another example over here. So Now we are going to check if the number is even or odd. So right now I have given the number as 7. We know it is an odd number. So in the if statement, if I say if num %2 is equal to 0, if the remainder of number divided by if the remainder of num7 is equal to 0, then print it is an even number or it is an odd number. So right now, if I run this, it is going to say this is an odd number. If I change this, it is going to say it is an even number. So this is how you can use a if-else statement. Another way, another example is for voting eligibility. So I say if the age is greater than equal to 18, we will say you are eligible to vote. Otherwise, we will say you are not eligible to vote yet. So right now I have given the age as 20. So it has given the output as you are eligible to vote. If I make it as 2, it is going to give us the output as you are not eligible to vote yet. One last example. I know too many examples we are taking here, but you should understand this properly. Now I am using a equal to operator over here. Okay, over here I used greater than equal to, and over here I have used %. Okay, now if I go ahead and say if password equal to, it means it is going to actually check the values from left, that Python 123 value, password value in Python 123 is same or not. So right now my password is Python 123. That means it is going to go ahead and say access granted. So if I make my password as 1234, it will say incorrect password. That is how if-else statement works. Now let's see what's next. So now the third one we are going to talk about is the else if statement. So the else if statement is used to check multiple conditions in a sequence. Let me show you one example while I am talking about that. So see, these are multiple conditions. Now we have to check the score of a student's report card, and you know there are different grades: A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade. That means there are 4 to 5 conditions that we have to satisfy over here by using a conditional statement, that is if else, which is not possible because if else is going to satisfy only 2 conditions, either grade A or grade B, but we have 5 grades over here. So in that case we are going to use else if. So what else if will do? So else if evaluates each condition from top to bottom. It will start from top till the bottom, okay, and runs the block for the first condition that evaluates to true. So if I am running it as if score is greater than equal to 90, this failed, it will go to the next. If else if score is greater than or equal to 80, grade B, over here it has passed. That means the loop and statement loop ends over here, and it is going to go ahead and print the output immediately. That is how it works. So let me go ahead and run this, and you can see your grade is B. Now if I change it to 25, so now how it will work, I will tell you. So now it has said the grade is B. So first it went into the if statement to check if it is greater than 90. It was false. Then it went down. This was also false. Then it went to third condition, then fourth condition. Then when all of them didn't met, it went to else, and the output was printed as F. Now let's understand it by one more example with the weather advice. So we have multiple conditions based on which we say whether our weather is hot, it's chilly, it's freezing, or it's a nice weather that people can go out and enjoy their day. So in this case, we have 4 conditions that we have to take care of. So what we say, if the temperature is greater than 30, it's hot. If the temperature is greater than 15, it's good, right? A person can enjoy his day. But over here, I think greater than 15, and I should have added and less than 30, because if it is greater than 50 and greater than which comes greater than 30 also, then it might impact. So this is how you can add more strict conditions to your code. I just gave you one example. Now for else if temperature is greater than 0, then it says it's chilly, right? So this is how it is going to check 4 conditions based on which. So right now I've said that temperature is equal to 5. So it is going to see if the temperature is greater than 5, less than 15, and the answer is 5. Okay. Now another example is age category. So we are going to categorize human's age based on his age number. So right now we are saying that if he is greater than 65, he's a senior citizen. If he's greater than 18, he's an adult. if he's less than if he's greater than equal to 13 and less than 18, he's a teenager, else he's a child. So right now we have given the age as 17, so it is going to go ahead and say that the guy is a teenager. So another last example. Now let's talk about some login attempt. So what I'm saying is we are going to provide 3 login attempts where a person can go ahead and feed in their password, and if their password is wrong for the 3 times, it will go ahead and log their account. Okay, so if I go ahead and run this, it says welcome, you have full access, because the attempts that we have kept over here is equal to 3, right? So I have said if the attempt is equal to 0, it will say account logged. Else if the attempt is equal to 1, the last attempt remaining. If the attempt is equal to 2, it is going to say be careful, only 3 attempts left, only 2 attempts left. If you have all the 3 attempts, it is going to go ahead and say welcome, you have full access. So this is how you can add conditions. This can be made better also, to be honest. Now let's see what we have next. So this is the most important part, which is going to take a lot of time for me to explain, but you have to stay with me. So nested conditions are if, else if, or else statement that we saw, which is placed inside other conditional blocks, allowing for multiple layered decision making. For instance, you might first check if someone meets an age requirement, and then within that, check if they hold a valid license too. So this layered logic reflects hierarchical decisions similar to decision trees used in machine learning. However, we have to be cautious with deep nesting, as it can make your code hard to read and maintain, commonly known as pyramid of doom. That's why I have made the pyramid. So the more nested conditions you use, it becomes a pyramid of doom. That's why we have to aim for clarity even in complex logic. Let's understand this nested conditions based on examples. So example number 1, we are using bank withdrawal logic. So over here, what we are saying, if the withdrawal amount is less than equal to balance, first condition. Okay, so it will go ahead and see that the withdrawal amount is equal to 500 and the balance is 5000. Condition met, it is coming inside. Now it says that the withdrawal amount is greater than 0. If the withdrawal amount is greater than 0, not a negative, it is going to go ahead and print successful, else it will say enter a valid number. If he's going to provide a negative number or some other data type, it is going to give an error. Okay, else it will say insufficient balance. Now if I go ahead and run this, it says withdrawal successful. That was one of the nested logic. Now we will say movie access based on age and time. So I say if the age is greater than equal to 18, you can watch any movie. Else if the show time is equal to matinee, you can watch a PG rated movie. Else print evening shows are restricted for minors. So we are actually checking everything based on the condition. Now we have given 2 variables over here. One is age and one is the show timing. So age I have used in my if condition, and show time I have used in my another nested if condition over here that you can see. Okay, so first we will check the age. After checking the age, he will see whether it is a matinee movie or not. If it is a matinee movie, it will say that you can watch a PG rated movie. Now if I go ahead and run this, so it says evening shows are restricted for minors. Why? Because first of all, his age is not greater than 18. So what happened? It checked over here, his age is not greater than 18. Then it went to else statement. Then inside else statement, it first checked what is the show time. The show time is not even matinee, so it has not printed that. Then in that again it went in else, and it's saying that evening shows are restricted for minors. This is a nested loop. Right. Now another example is online order eligibility. So we have kept item in stock, user logged in, is prime member, 3 conditions, true and false. Now what we are seeing over here is if item in stock, then we will proceed ahead. Once we check, okay, item is in stock, then next, user is logged in. Yes, user is logged in. Once user is logged in, again we will check, is he a prime user or not? If he is a prime user, we will say free one-day delivery. Else, if he is not a prime user, we are going to go ahead and say standard shipping applied. Okay, so if I go ahead and run this, let's see, it says standard shipping applied. So based on all these three conditions, we have different else blocks too, right? So in if, I have this if else, right? So this if has this else, this if has this else, this if has this else. This is known as nested conditions, which is a bit complex, but once you start coding, it will be easy for you to understand. Now, let's talk about the official documentation. So what we have here, so to have more understanding about what exactly is available on the official documentation side, you can go ahead and visit over here where it explains that what is if statement. There are a few examples too, and if you click on these links, it will give you it will take you to more different documentations which are available on their official website. Now, so that's it, guys. Thanks everyone for your time and participation. I encourage you to experiment with the concepts we discussed today, and if you have any questions or thought, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I will try my level best to answer them. Remember, programming skills improve with practice. So try to apply these concepts in different contexts to solidify your understanding. Join our WhatsApp community, subscribe to our artificial intelligence and machine learning YouTube channel, and become the part of AIML revolution, as well as sign up for our Tech Inside Neuron newsletter. All the links are displayed on the screen above with the QR code. You can scan it and you can join it. So see you in the next video. Take care and bye for now.